problems. That's what's up. My cat is bullying. Hmm. Are you crashing out again today? Yeah. Welcome.
What's up?
Yo, I was gonna read the Bible. It's up to you.
I would like for you to demonstrate how the universe was created in 7 days.
Well, that's stupid. That the Bible says so, right? So that's
Yeah, you said it's demonstratable, so how do we demonstrate that?
transcendentally. So the first step would be to admit that you have a problem.
Admit that I have a problem. What is this, AA?
Kind of.
Admit that I have a problem, okay.
Yeah, because
What's the next step?
so if your ultimate commitments about reality were true, would demonstration be possible?
Would demonstration be possible if my reality were true? Yeah. If my reality were true, we could demonstrate it, which is why we can demonstrate the universe was in fact not created in 7 days.
Okay, but well, I have to assume your view, and then show you how your view would make demonstration impossible. So, would you agree that like an explanation or like a demonstration, we would explain facts with other facts, or we would demonstrate a fact with other facts?
Yeah, you expound upon facts to reach a general conclusion, yeah.
So, an explanation it would be a relation between facts.
Okay, what relationship with facts does the Bible carry that it was created in 7 days, the universe created in 7 days?
So it's either that all facts would derive and depend on a single source,
Yeah,
or not.
reality. They are dependent on reality. You can claim whatever you want. You can claim the universe was created in 7 days, but until you can demonstrate it through reality, then you have not demonstrated, in fact, anything.
Okay, but like, what metaphysical principle would relate facts?
What metaphysical principle would relate facts?
Yeah.
Facts aren't based in the metaphysical, they're based in the physical.
What do you think metaphysical means?
Outside of our physical reality, that's what metaphysical means.
No, metaphysical would be
I'm glad you have a dictionary pulled up. You read it.
it'd be claims about physics.
Metaphysical is claims about physics.
Yeah, like why does the gravity stay the same tomorrow? It doesn't change.
Metaphysical is like ideas. It would be like the explanation for gravity.
So
we have a metaphysical explanation of why gravity exists. We don't have a metaphysical reality where gravity is up to interpretation. When you drop something, it very much falls to the ground, and that doesn't have anything to do with metaphysics.
you don't. Okay, but metaphysics is claims about physics.
Some parts of physics. It's also claims about psychology. It's also claims about philosophy.
Yeah, like so when we say like, well, why does the event in the future connect to the event in the past, allowing us to like predict future events? And that would be a metaphysical question, right? Because it's a question about physics.
It's a branch of philosophy studying the fundamental nature of reality, existence and being, often exploring what lies beyond empirical observation. So your entire question was nonsensical. You asked me what outside of our empirical observation would
Okay.
be a foundation for our empirical observations.
Let me
We
put
don't
it.
need.
Let me
Yeah,
put it
put
like
it in
this:
something that actually makes sense.
if facts don't actually relate to each other in reality, could the facts explain each other?
Facts do relate to each other in
That
reality.
we agree, but trying to explain.
So
So,
why are we
so
trying to?
we both agree that facts actually relate to each other. So that needs to be.
Facts are based upon empirical observation. That's what makes a fact a fact.
I'm asking.
It's not something and
That's
it
not what
follows.
you focus on. So I'm asking what would actualize the relationship between facts so that it is actual as opposed to imaginary.
Empirical evidence.
Okay.
You drop something, it falls to the ground.
So we can have
I
like
can see that. I can observe it. I can use it to predict the future. The Bible says the universe was created in 7 days. We have nothing. We have no physical proof, no empirical data to suggest that at all, except for the scriptures of a 2,000-year-old text.
yeah, and so like think about it. You could have the ingredients for cake, right? But that doesn't mean you have a cake just because you have the ingredients.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because we're talking about actualization. So the ingredients don't make a cake unless the cake is actualized or the ingredients are actualized into a cake. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right.
What does that have to do with anything?
So you can describe like the ingredients that there's like relationships between facts, but what actualizes that?
Pumpkin, that chess position is checkmate because the pawn is pinned to the king. So if you try to take the knight, it is an illegal move. That is checkmate, sir.
Okay, so this is you suppressing the truth and unrighteousness.
Yeah, definitely. I have yet to hear you demonstrate how the universe was created in 7 days.
Okay, well, demonstrations, like what you consider a valid and possible explanation, is going to depend on your ultimate commitments to reality, and you're ultimately committed to your sin. So there's nothing I can say to you because
So you can't demonstrate it to someone that is a sinner.
you have to let
Guess
go.
what? Everyone in your worldview is a sinner except for Jesus. You're a sinner, so you can't demonstrate it to yourself. Thanks for proving my point. You can't demonstrate you can't demonstrate the universe was created in 7 days to anyone except for people that believe in your bullshit.
You won't let go of your preconceived notions. Like Bruce Lee would say,
I won't let go of my preconceived notions that reality is based upon empirical evidence. That's not a preconceived notion. That is a notion that has been proven based upon empirical evidence. It's very not perceived. We aren't born in this world thinking that the universe was billions of years old. We had to go out and find the evidence to suggest that it was. It's not a preconceived notion at all. The only people that fall into your bullshit are the ones that have a preconceived notion that plead to a 2,000-year-old text that say one thing and try to come up with evidence to suggest that it's true.
well, like
So, no,
Bruce Lee would say, like you have to empty your cup. Like your cup of knowledge is full, and you think you know everything. And for you to accept what the knowledge I have, like Bruce Lee would say, you got to empty your knowledge cup so you can put more knowledge.
I am telling you, my cup was filled with bullshit when I was a child. I had to go out. I had to empty my cup in order to understand that the universe, no, was not created in 7 days, was no, not in fact 2,000 years old. Because that's what I was told in Bible school and camp by my parents, by my
This guy's nuts, Darth. If you want to communicate,
Yeah,
with him,
How did you determine that these things are false?
I'm nuts for escaping the cult, which you're trying to indoctrinate people.
Yeah, you're just generalizing right now. Can you please explain to me how you determine that these things are false?
How do I determine that the universe was not created in 7 days?
Yeah.
Because we have light that is billions and billions of years apart. Okay, we have things like red and blue shifts. We know.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on a second. You're not talking with a seventh grader here. Okay, I'm more than double. All right, listen. Okay, so either from here on out, you're going to conduct yourself intelligently, or you will choose not to. Now,
I've been conducting myself intelligently this entire time.
Okay, Clay, I am a co-host. Okay.
Okay,
I'm not just a co-moderator. Okay, so you're being.
You must respect my authority. How about you shut your bitch ass up?
All right.
I really don't give a shit.
Okay, why should I take what you were saying seriously about the notion of deep time?
Take what you're saying?
Why are you interrupting
based
me?
upon the fact that you're
Why? Okay, hey Clay. I am trying to be civil with you. You're being nothing but outrageously obnoxious.
The first thing you said was insulting my intelligence.
Okay, Clay. When somebody's lacking in intellectual grounds for their case, they resort to belligerence, which is exactly what you're doing.
You know what? Yeah, you're resorting
to Clay, I'm about to kick you.
Insulting my intelligence.
Okay, all right, goodbye, Clay. You're done.
Goodbye,
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more. Well, the universe is billions of years old. Well, yeah. Well, that's a popular cosmological model. What makes that true?
I was trying to go over the lack of neutral territory, that our ultimate commitments about reality are going to determine what we're going to consider to be a valid or possible explanation for anything. And they just refuse to address that point, of course, right?
Well, he's young and stupid, and he's trying to cover up, this by just belligerence. And this is typically what a lot of skeptics do. Welcome, Big Dog. What do you want to talk about? Welcome, Pigeon. What do you want to talk about?
How is your argument different than Van Til's? I mean, aren't you just a YouTube Van Til copycat, sir?
I didn't hear the whole thing. Can you repeat?
Oh, I said, aren't you just a YouTube Van Til copycat? But I want to talk to PMars. What's up, PMars?
Okay, no, I'm about to kick you. I'm about to kick you. That's strike 2. If you don't stop right now, you're gone. Goodbye. Okay. Goodbye. Okay. These people are mentally ill. That's okay. They choose to be that way.
God will permit you to rebel against reality.
Of course, and they're in for a rude awakening. Welcome, Pumpkin. What do you want to talk about?
I think that preterism basically debunks the Bible. Jesus says, or it says 50 times that Jesus would return in the first century, and then that didn't happen.
Okay, hold on a second. How old are you?
37.
Okay, and what is your model of reality?
I believe in an infinite, eternal, self-existent mind. That's the cause of all reality. For in him we live, move, and have our being according to the Bible.
Okay, do you believe in the God of the Bible?
Well, I think the Bible's an approximation. It gets better and better and better, and there's definitely eternal truths in the Bible, but I don't believe that it's perfect,
Okay, well then you are flatly contradicting the propositional content of the Bible. Do you realize that?
The Bible never claims to be the word.
Okay, dude, look, I'm 64. I was studying theology when you were still playing with Legos. Now, if you're going to try to argue with me about what the Bible teaches, you're picking on the wrong person. Okay? Now,
yeah, where in the Bible does it say the Bible's the Word of God?
Okay, have you ever studied pneumatology?
I haven't.
Okay, I have. Okay, it's the doctrine of the Holy Spirit. Okay, have you done any primary reading in theological works that goes through a step-by-step process explaining the doctrine of the inspiration of the Bible?
I've read two systematic theology books. One was called Systematic Theology. It was a college text, and the other one was What the Bible Teaches. Well, let me give you the name of the one I know. Let me give you the one that I know. So I read the systematic theology that I know was What the Bible Teaches by Torrey, Torrey, which I found. But here's the deal: you're not gonna.
Stop.
The Bible says Jesus.
I'm gonna kick you. Okay, strike two. You got a third strike. I'm kicking you. Okay. Now, Torrey's writings, as good as they were, are not classified or categorized as a systematic theology. Okay, are we clear? You talking about R.A. Torrey?
Systematic theology. Systematic theology. Yeah, that's what it is. It's systematic theology.
No, sir. R.A. Torrey.
Yeah, it is. Dumbass. My dumbass. It is.
Okay, all right. Okay, what a psycho. See, look, I mean, one after another, they're mentally ill. Are you gonna behave yourself, Mr. Pigeon?
Tell me how you're different or superior to them.
Mr. Pigeon, all you have to do is conduct yourself maturely, right? If you don't, now you're blocked. Now you're blocked. Now you're blocked. First of all, your microphone is garbage, and you're blocked. See ya. Bye. I hope this is not your account that you don't want me to block on.
No, you can block people on this account.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
That guy's particularly.
I want to try to cooperate. Okay.
Okay. Well, it's just it's not that I have you do your things your way, I do my things my way. It's not like I don't think it's wrong to block people. It's just like it's kind of not my style.
I understand. Look, they just categorically refuse to conduct themselves maturely. We can debate and disagree all day long, but at least you got to conduct yourself maturely, and they refuse to do that.
They refuse to not contradict themselves or be arbitrary.
You want a cheap copy of them too.
Okay. I'm gonna give you another chance because you're using a different account. If you blow it, I'm gonna block this one in a heartbeat. Please do not overtalk. Please do not overtalk me again while I'm talking. Okay. You're
Are you not hearing the question, you coward? Are you not hearing the question, you coward? How are you not a cheap copy of Van Til? How are you not?
They just have to do this power struggle every time. They have to be in control.
Well, his local pharmacy was closed, and he couldn't get a refill on his psych meds.
Well, it's like they have no power in their real life, and then so they become obsessed with telling other people what to do and all that.
Yeah, I'm all the more. I'm totally willing to listen to a prolonged debate where we disagree, but I'm just not putting up with bad behavior. He didn't get kicked because he was disagreeing. He got kicked because he's just unhinged. By the way, I was listening to Loud Lefty give his systematic breakdown of things like the Kalam, and it was just it just blows me away how stupid these people are. They're just so dumb on these issues. It's not that I just disagree with them. It's they have no realization how faulty their reasoning is, because they haven't exposed them. They haven't exposed themselves to robust opposition or a robust critique of what they have to say.
I was listening to an atheist critique the Kalam, and I was thinking Bonson gives a critique where Bonson points out 4 of the fallacies behind it, and the atheist only got 1 of them, and I was going to point out the other 3, and it's like they just dismiss me because I'm a pre-sub,
Yeah, what I'm just saying is that they just don't get it right, you know. Like, for example, Craig talks about using inductive arguments. He talks about something being more plausibly true than not. And they typically follow that principle, which means, according to that principle, then they're, in order to be consistent, they have to accept the kalam. But they abandon that principle when attacking the kalam.
What principle?
That something is more plausibly true than not, or it's more plausibly true than its negation. That's an inductive type of reasoning, and they abandon that. Look, there's not many of them that are good thinkers. There, okay, they're just not good thinkers.
Check it out. I got
Sir, what would you like to talk about?
I got a mic stand.
Oh, good.
Hey, nice.
What is it? Can you show that again? I didn't see your mic stand.
I ordered this from Nintendo. It's like a little placard. It's like a little placard, but I can clip my mic on it. It's kind of cool.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Next week, the second Mario movie's coming out.
I thought it was already out. My friend saw it.
Oh, that's right. It is right. Yeah, that's you're correct. It is out. Yeah, I'm gonna go see it. The first one was good.
Mario.
It's fun.
Tell your dog, what would you like to talk about?
Well, my question was going to be more so of the evidence for a biblical Jesus or lack thereof.
Are you a Jesus mythicist?
How do you mean?
A Jesus mythicist is somebody who says there never was any kind of historical Jesus of Nazareth.
I don't deny whether or not there was a Jesus of Nazareth per se. It's more so the biblical version of Jesus is what I question and what there is a lack of evidence of.
Well, that would,
I would say.
Well, when you say there's a lack of evidence, okay. So, are you talking about the putative eyewitness accounts of Jesus' ministry, teachings, death, burial, and resurrection?
I would say more so there is no historical evidence towards him. There is.
Okay, sir, are you denying?
I was going to say.
Well, I'm interrupting you because you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, you're not even listening carefully. Okay, no, sir, listen to me. I get very weary with talking people like you who don't know what they're talking about. I said okay, all right, I'm about to kick you. Okay.
Crash out.
Okay, you okay, now you're blocked. Okay, goodbye. Yeah, you're a moron.
So what I was trying to say is
you're done. You're gone. Okay, I said, was he rejecting the putative eyewitness accounts codified in the Bible? And what the words that came out of his mouth, he wasn't answering the question, because we have the New Testament as a collective record referring to Jesus of Nazareth. Okay. Now, whether or not somebody believes that is authoritative or historical is another issue. Right. So when they say it's a lack of evidence, what they're really saying is the references to Jesus' actions, ministry, teachings, death, burial, and resurrection that are codified in the aggregate in the Bible do not speak authoritatively. But they don't want to put it that way. They just want to say, oh, there's no evidence. Good. So then they're going to have to explain how their determination that the propositional content about the ministry and life of Jesus is not authoritative, and how they're able to make authoritative statements. See, this is one thing that goes right over their radar. They just don't understand that they're claiming to speak authoritatively against what the Bible teaches.
He conceded that he's not really dismissing the Bible on any like historical basis. It seemed like it was the miracles and stuff. So these people dismiss the Bible based on their metaphysical assumptions, not any sort of like historical or scientific criteria or anything like that. Really, it's just they dogmatically assert their metaphysics.
I'm going to start muting you people in the chat. I usually don't pay attention to it. If you want to challenge what I'm saying, then you need to come up. If you're just going to be a keyboard warrior, you're going to get muted. Okay, I won't warn you guys in the chat again. Okay, you're done. Oh, okay, so this troll, his account is already blocked on my account. Okay, he's muted. Okay, here we go. That's all they've got. Okay, so the second person to troll in the chat, I looked on his profile. He's blocked on my account. What a surprise. What a surprise. What a bunch of morons. Welcome, Brady. What do you want to talk about?
Hello. I know it says like no Christians allowed on this. So, but I mean, I just had a question specifically because I was in a live earlier where this guy was trying to prove that none of the New Testament authors.
Okay, stop. What was the name of the stream?
I don't know his username, but I'm just saying what his backdrop said.
Can you describe what he looked like?
I mean, I know he was a black guy that wore a ball cap and some glasses.
Okay, continue.
Okay, so he claimed that none of the New Testament authors met Jesus. Now, let me go back to the notes I had. So Peter, James, John, and Matthew, who were part of Jesus' inner circle, they were, with Jesus. But one of the things he was trying to argue,
you're preaching to the choir. Now, here's what you need to understand about people like this. They are a dime a dozen. Okay, have you ever heard of that cliche?
Can you repeat that again? I couldn't understand.
They're a dime a dozen.
I've never heard that term before.
Okay, how old are you?
23.
Okay, so it's before your time. When I was younger and even before my time, if something was very common, especially as a product, they would be, they're 10 cents for a dozen of them. They're just very common, right? So a dime a dozen just means it's something common and not something unique. Now, people like this are morons because they're making bold statements. But what lies behind their bold statements that counter the New Testament accounts of eyewitness recordings of Jesus is incredulity. They don't have a robust way to authoritatively declare that they weren't eyewitnesses. These people they tend to be morons. They tend to be anti-intellectual, anti-scholarship. And even when they're quoting scholarship of those scholars who reject the authenticity, they're just giving their opinion. It's not authoritative.
They selectively quote scholars to support a narrative.
Yeah. So what they're doing is they are relying almost entirely, typically, on their own state of incredulity as the basis to assert none of the biblical authors encountered Jesus.
That's true.
Okay, but it just relies on their incredulity rather than them robustly giving evidence that was the case. Now, when a few people like this attempt to do so, people like Dan McClellan,
Uh-huh.
who has a PhD
That's so goofy.
in biblical studies, he's just speaking like he's talking to college students, as though what he was saying was authoritative. He says it in an authoritative manner, but it's not authoritative. He's just giving his opinion. He talks about his principle, as an example, is called data over dogma. Now, this guy is one of the biggest bullshit artists on TikTok.
Well, you should follow him on Twitter or X. Like he said, he's always posting the craziest things on there.
Yeah. So what he's doing is there is no raw data, because everything has to be filtered through either a positive or a negative confirmation bias. So when he says data over dogma, okay, he's just bullshitting.
They strip
everybody's biased.
They strip the Bible of its theological content, and they try to analyze it like it's just a regular book or something like that.
Yeah. So when people say that the biblical authors never witnessed or heard Jesus, okay, they're just lying. They can't support that.
Yeah, I was going to say one more thing because I know you got other people to talk to. But so one of the things he was trying to get me to prove is who was the witness when Paul had that vision on the road to Damascus when he saw Jesus during that conversion time.
Paul himself.
What do you
Yes.
mean? Paul, and there was also people with him that heard something.
Well, in Acts, there are two passages. One where they heard somebody speaking to Paul, but they could not make out what was being said.
Yeah.
So that's why in one passage it says they heard somebody speaking to Jesus, and the other passage says they could not hear, which is a common colloquial way when somebody's, let's say, phone is garbled and you say, I can't hear you. You can hear them, but what is being said is garbled.
If someone's talking in the next room, you can sort of hear them through the wall, but you can't really make out what they're saying.
Yeah, all the time in our homes when somebody's talking to us in another room or from upstairs, and you say, I can't hear you. And that's a colloquial way of saying, I can hear you talking, but the words are not distinct, right? So the bottom line is this: when they attack the historical integrity of the Bible, they're not just coming at it from a pure factual basis. Nobody is. They're coming at it from a working model of reality, wherein they either accept that God is, and that God has given us natural and special revelation of himself, including the Bible, or they will be operating from what is called a non-revelational model. Okay. Now, other than like people that like the demented McClellan, and he is demented, but he sure looks nice when he puts makeup on his face when he does his videos, as he wants to hide the dark circles under his eyes. But then again, at least he comes on camera. I don't. Not that I have anything to hide, but these people are just bullshit artists. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like these same people, I'm not denying the fact that some of these people, they can believe that yes, these events happen, but the only problem is that they are not understanding the supernatural influence of how God has worked in these people.
Just keep this in mind, okay? Yeah. When they challenge individual aspects or pieces of the biblical narrative, to deny a piece of the narrative is to deny the whole narrative that God is and that the Bible represents the product of his special revelation, codified and providentially preserved. Okay?
Yeah.
So we don't have to sit there and piecemeal and defend each thing, in a historical argument. Can we make historical arguments for this? Yes. But we have a superior way of going about that to show that the parts are part of a whole, an aggregate, a whole. And the whole represents a model of reality. When they are attacking either the parts or the whole of the Bible, they're attacking the Christian worldview, and they can only do so in virtue of a not Christian worldview. So when people like Dan McClellan and other flunkies who listen to him and repeat this crap on YouTube, and they attack the integrity that none of the gospel writers, were Jesus contemporaries, they're just offering speculation, and they're trying to say it as though it was in an authoritative manner, and that it is authoritative when it's not. And so we can just pull the rug out from under them by saying, when you reject the part of the whole, you are also rejecting the whole. And when you reject the whole, you now forfeit your ability to critique the legitimacy of the whole, of the parts that are inseparably connected to the whole, because they're operating from a non-defensible model of reality.
That's why I've been so interested. That's why I've been so interested in going deeper to study Christian apologetics, because as someone who's about to go into the ministry myself, I'm wanting to be able to reason with different topics. How can I approach these tactics? Like, for example, I recently ordered this book by Gregory Koch. I can't say his last name. It's called Tactics.
Tactics, yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it's a good book, so I'm going to
Brady, how old are you?
23.
Okay, Brady, follow me, send me a DM, and I will send you a link to a vast number of resources on the internet that will be more than enough of 3 or 4 lifetimes. Okay?
Thank you. I'll go ahead and let you guys.
And when I say that, you can trust me. So send me a DM. Say, send me the link to the resources, and when you get the link, get it. What the link that I send to you, it has many different folders in all different categories, and there's several non-categorized sections that have tons of material. Just take my word.
If he has
you see what's there, get it. Download it while you can, okay?
And so sometimes Darth has a Joe Biden moment, so you could also message me for the same thing. But yeah.
Okay, what's that? Why are you saying I have a Joe Biden moment?
You're up at that age, that Joe Biden age. So.
Okay, well, so I'm not perfect.
I'm sorry.
At least I like plaid, and PMars is wearing a plaid shirt. Plaid is my favorite color.
I'm like his secretary.
Right. Well, anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and I got some more score I gotta do.
Okay.
Y'all take care. I'll go ahead and send you that message as soon as I possibly can.
The stuff that I'm gonna send you in the link is more resources than you can shake a stick at.
Okay.
Did you hear what Trump said about Joe Biden, about Kim Jong-il said he was mentally, we can't say it.
Well, he is. I mean, even before he was elected, he was unfit.
And then he's like, he was so mean to Joe Biden. While he's being mean to Joe Biden, like, constantly.
Well, Presidio, the problem with Dan McClellan is his model of reality, not his education.
And that, the praise be to Allah tweet, that's the greatest tweet of all time. I can't believe he did you hear him tweet that?
Oh gosh.
On Easter too. Oh man, that was perfect.
Well, if they start firing on ships going through the Strait of Hormuz, he's just going to resume taking out their electrical plants.
Yeah. I was looking forward to Bridge Day, but I guess we'll have to wait.
Well, I think he's giving them a pause just so he can show the world, look, I gave these people the benefit of the doubt many times, and they keep on stalling, dodging.
Well,
okay, fine.
It also sounds like we kind of have won. Like, it sounds like we've decimated anything they had to, like, do harm to other people, So
Well, there's still more to do.
hopefully the Iranian people can take back their freedom, because they deserve better than that. That regime is
Well,
awful.
I am very thankful that the United States and Israel has implemented the destruction upon the Islamic cult military.
Well, Trump
We
is
have no
right.
beef with the
We do have they do have a new regime, because the old regime is in hell.
well, these are junior wannabes,
Yeah,
a part of the Islamic.
I heard there was like a fraction within Iran. They were fighting. There's like a civil war going on because there's like a power struggle now, right?
Look, these people were trying to build a missile arsenal that would not only destroy Israel, but could fire on Europe, and then eventually they want to develop ICBMs, even if they're not nuclear capable. So this was a good thing that happened.
This has revealed what an absolute cockroach Tucker Carlson is too. Complete horrible low character.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. He's
terrible.
Well, he doesn't care anymore. I think
the Muslims are paying him. That's what I think.
Me, we're at odds.
I think the Muslims are giving him money. That's what I think's going on.
You know what? I think that you're right, and I think there's some reason to believe that.
Because nothing else makes sense.
Yeah. But not like he needs the money.
That's another thing too. Like what he's rich. He's already like the guy has
he never has to work another day in his life from the contract that Fox had to pay out. Because when they fired him, they had to pay out the remainder of the contract.
Just zero integrity, zero principle. He doesn't even need the money. It's like, why are you doing this? What a weirdo.
Yeah, he's gone over the deep end.
Yeah. A lot of these people.
You got to remember, he attends the Episcopal Church.
Megyn Kelly went nuts. She went nuts.
Yeah, what happened to her? She went off the cliff too.
Yeah.
Candace Owens went nuts a long time ago.
I think Candace was always crazy. So.
Yeah, but we just didn't know it.
I kind of knew it because when she said like that Jewish people gets its brightness and direction from the sun. The rays relate to each other. They can shine on the same object and overlap precisely because they all come from the same single source with a fixed identity.
Yeah, Van Til refers to God as the all-conditioner. He refers to God elsewhere as the concrete universal, to borrow phraseology from idealism.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Some sophist told me that when I use terms like absolute, grounded, or concrete universal, that I'm using idiosyncratic terminology, and they use that as a way to just dismiss everything I was saying as nonsense. But I pointed out that like, no, transcendental idealists use a similar terminology, and then they like launched into some like rant about Hegel or something. It's like the people are goofy as hell.
Well, would I ever talk with Dan McClellan? If I had the opportunity, I would, but it wouldn't last very long because he's not going to be accustomed to my type of confrontation.
He's going to want to talk about like,
yeah, you see, he's only interested in showboating.
He's going to dogmatically assume his historical criteria as the valid arbiter of like how we know what's true.
I have heard him bastardize so many things in the Bible, like 2 Timothy 2:16, where it talks about, or is it 3:16?
I should just go look at his Twitter.
He says that the word theopneustos, which is translated God breathed or inspired in some text, he goes, it doesn't mean inspired. When I listened to it, I just couldn't believe what garbage he was spewing. Not simply because I agree with him, but he just says, "Oh, it means life-giving." He's such a bullshit artist.
He always has
when he says he champions data over dogma, he's a liar.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
there is no neutral data.
Listen,
Everybody brings their confirmation biases to the table and interprets and then expounds upon the so-called data.
so here's his latest tweet. This is his most recent tweet. This is perfect. Everyone who treats the Bible as an authority chooses what they like from it and disregards what they dislike. That's literally an
That's a
inevitability.
caricature. That's a caricature.
You can't derive consistent principles from it otherwise. Folks like Eric are doing the exact same thing. They just pretend they're not. What a goofball.
Dan McCullen is almost unsufferable to listen to in terms of his arrogance.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's constantly speculating and at times even regurgitating what liberal scholars may say, even in a plurality, but that doesn't necessitate that it's true. Okay.
He wrote a book called The Bible Says So.
Yeah.
I
have a copy of that.
Is it a signed copy?
No.
I think that's
he's an anti God of the Bible person.
This is insane. There is no sense in which the Constitution was based on the Old Testament or the new Judeo-Christian. So
that's patently absurd.
Because
European law is rooted in biblical theology.
I feel like the whole idea of a secular government is Jewish in origin, where you had God, who was like the authority, right, and then the government, and that was a theocratic nation. But the idea that God is this authority and the government is a different authority that's like a Christian idea, because in every other culture it was God and the state were the same.
Dan isn't even a Mormon.
Like that's why
Mormons accept the integrity of the Bible. Dan does not.
Like in communism, the state becomes basically the God, right, or the religion. It's like the same thing. So
Yeah.
Christians
All right,
are.
I'll be back.
The United States is like the first secular nation that comes from the Bible. Welcome, neighbor.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing well. What would you like to say?
Yeah, my question was about number 4. I'm not sure why we would need Jesus to do science. Could you elaborate on that a bit?
Yeah, well, science relies on things like truth exists, or that it's like we can know the truth, or it's good to know the truth, right? Science can't demonstrate any of those things. So those come from God's revelation.
Well, you can still do science just by assuming it, though.
Okay, but science only works if the Bible's true. If the Bible was false, science wouldn't work.
Why is that?
I just told you, because it would be based on, it would have nothing to stand on, because it assumes a bunch of things that it can't demonstrate to be true. Does that make sense?
I mean, assuming it, you can still work under the assumption. You may not be able to actually demonstrate it. Like, for instance, the laws of logic, right? We just assume them; they're axiomatic. We can't actually justify them. It's just our rendition of how the universe works. But if we assume it and we kind of just help ourselves to it, we can still do science.
It's schizophrenic.
It's not schizophrenic at all.
It is schizophrenic, because you're assuming connections that don't exist.
Well, they exist just by way of induction.
Okay, I will
That's all we
grant
have to
you.
go by.
I will grant you that you can detach yourself from reality and become an insane person and still do science. Yes.
Well, that's your straw man of the scenario.
How is that a straw man? That's what Bertrand Russell said.
There would be nothing insane about just assuming the regularity of the laws of nature, for example.
Really?
Just assuming them, because just by way of induction, that's all we see, right? It's predictable, there's patterns, and we can kind of build off of that. Now, can we definitively say the laws of physics won't change tomorrow? No. But why would we work with that assumption?
So Bertrand Russell, who's an atheist and a famous
I know
intellectual,
who Bertrand Russell is. Yeah.
he says the opposite of what you're saying to me. He says if we don't solve this problem that we're talking about, that there's no intellectual difference between sanity and insanity, which is why I called you like a schizophrenic. He says the lunatic who believes that he is a poached egg is to be condemned solely on the ground that he's a minority, or rather, since there are many lunatics, and on that ground
And what would they,
that the sane are more numerous than the insane.
yeah, I actually
So-
don't agree with Bertrand Russell on that.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, I actually
So-
don't agree with Bertrand Russell on that.
Wow.
Yeah, and you don't agree
Okay.
with Bertrand Russell because he's an atheist.
Well-
Does that make you crazy?
I don't really want to debate crazy people. So
Okay, Bertrand Russell says God isn't real. Do you believe that as well? Is he your authority?
no, I agree
All right,
with
so
him.
why are you hinging anything on what Bertrand Russell said and not what I'm actually
Because
saying?
in a debate, it helps my side because I'm not quoting a Christian that agrees with me. I'm quoting an atheist that agrees with me. So I'm using an atheist intentionally to show that there's no bias in what I'm saying and that the bias is in you, that you're a crazy person. You're denying reality according to thinkers like Bertrand Russell. You're insane.
Okay. That's great to know. According to Bertrand Russell, I'm insane.
Yes.
Bertrand Russell probably thinks you're insane for believing in God as well.
Okay. Also, I could quote Willard Van Orton Quine. He says that
How about we just talk?
how about you
How about
stop
we just
being
talk?
how about you stop being scared of the truth? You're a
I'm
coward.
trying to discuss the truth with you. You're quoting.
You're not.
scholars.
You're
And you
running
wanna have
you're
a
running from
conversation.
what's obvious. You're suppressing the truth and unrighteousness because you're ultimately committed to your sin. So the problem
Right. So
is
can we have the conversation, or do you just
No.
want to quote people?
I don't really want to talk to you because you're unreasonable.
So you just want to quote people?
Okay. Yeah, sure, whatever. Can you leave?
This is what happens when Darth's not here.
Yeah.
Wait, why are they saying you're a convicted sex offender in the chat? Is there any
Well-
truth to that?
I mean, you're the skeptic. Why don't you figure it out?
Is there any truth to it?
Are you a skeptic?
Irrelevant. Is there any truth to that?
Okay. What's up, Jesus Christ?
Just want to
is
understand.
King
So
of
instead of
kings.
debating, all you're going to do is quote scholars who agree with you. That's
I
all you're
would-
going to do. You're not
I'm
gonna actually
commanded
debate.
not to give to dogs what is holy, so I'm asking you to leave.
That makes sense. Host a live, call it debate live, but you don't want to debate. I got you. It's okay. You can run away from it. Thanks, man.
Don't cast pearls before swine, lest they turn to attack you. Exactly. So notice how he attacked me? Oh, sure. Yeah. How do I? All right, I'll mod you, Cassie. Moderators. There you go. Okay. I should probably check the make sure like real quick. Wait. Like sometimes words get banned. How do I do that? Comment settings. Filter comments off, masked comments. All comments. I don't know. Hopefully there's no censorship. Censorship on TikTok is nuts. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, you said you don't mind any Christians. I'm a non-believer of over 40 years. And that was after being raised in Christianity. So, but I do have a question for you related
Okay.
to number 2. It says the Bible does not endorse slavery. Would it be
Facts.
fair to say that it endorses other things related to cultures which are not that do not align with other cultures. Would that be fair to say?
I'm not really sure what you're saying there. Are you saying it condemns other cultures?
Okay, so would it be so if it's mentioned in the Bible, then wouldn't that mean that the Bible finds it accepting in the Bible in Christian nations?
No, there's a lot of things in the Bible that's mentioned that are not good.
Well, right. And so therefore, a lot of people who are United States citizens adhere strongly to the Bible to endorse those ways of life, which is Sharia law.
What are you talking about? The Bible is not Sharia law. That's the Quran.
Well, the Bible has the Sharia law in there. So if we view the
Okay.
things that take place in the Bible,
What are you talking about?
so, okay, so for example, the things, well, okay, so do people of the Bible ever wonder why there's no women around? Because they're always unaliving the women and the children. So do they wonder why they're by their...
I can't even follow that at all. That is nuts. No, I'm going to talk to that person.
What happened to that genius?
Which one? We've had like 5.
The last one, the female.
Oh, I just kicked her because she was in. I couldn't even understand her train of thought at all. She said the Bible has Sharia.
You know what's sad? Not because we're super geniuses, but the level of stupidity.
She said the Bible
that we
has.
deal with.
Did you hear what she said? She said the Bible has Sharia law.
Yeah, she's an idiot.
What does that even?
No, well, first of all, Sharia law is grounded in Islam, right? And Islam is grounded in world domination. Okay, the Old Testament laws were limited compositely to the nation of Israel.
Okay. I guess what I'd like to speak about as a non-Christian here is like historical archaeological fact. You would accept that Jews predate Christianity completely, right? And that Christianity comes from the Jews. Like that's
Christianity.
very dumb to argue.
Christianity. Okay, so you're making a very common mistake because you haven't studied theology and the biblical narrative.
Go ahead.
Okay, now Christianity. What does the word Christ mean?
Sir, I just want to ask you, do you believe that...
Sir, I'm trying to answer you in what you don't know.
I don't need
about.
a lesson here.
Okay.
Just answer the question.
Okay, have a nice day. You're done.
See?
Okay. These people are such scumbags.
I had like this seasoning thing recipe, and I can't find it.
Is that one of your sister's cats?
Yeah. I need to get her to get these cats somewhere else. This is getting crazy. Like, my cat, yeah, it's just like, it's too many. Yeah, it's just, I don't know what the hell.
By the way, was she, when was the infraction?
It was on Christmas Eve.
And has it been adjudicated?
I don't think so. She said she was gonna get like 2 days in jail or something.
Oh gosh.
But they took her car. They seized her car.
Yeah, but it wasn't because it was more than one infraction.
Yeah. But that's a pretty severe punishment because it was a nice car.
You should learn your lesson after you have your first one.
Well, she's
welcome in.
She's like suicidal though, so she doesn't care.
That's sad. What would you like to talk about, sir?
The Bible does endorse slavery.
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, several questions. If you become obnoxious or evasive, you will be removed without warning. Do you understand the rule?
Yeah.
What is the Hebrew word that is translated slave in 20th century English translations?
I don't know.
Okay. Now,
I don't know.
there are many times that the Hebrew word eved is not translated slave, but refers to, it's used neutrally to refer to somebody acting in a service role to another with no connotation or contextual indication that it's forced captivity and forced servitude. So whenever you come across the word slave in the Old Testament, how do you determine in any given passage whether it is simply referring to somebody acting as a servant or a contractual employee versus that it will refer necessarily to forced captivity and forced servitude?
So, are you allowed to beat your employee?
If you don't answer the question, I'm going to kick you.
Okay.
How do you determine that anytime you come across the word slave in the English translation, it is, how do you know whether or not it's referring to forced captivity and forced servitude rather than when you actually study the word, it's simply a neutral term, meaning anyone who acts in service to another. For example, God refers to himself as being an Eved to the nation of Israel. He said that he wanted Israel to be his Eveds, okay, his servants. Right? There are numerous instances that are beyond question where the word Eved cannot mean forced captivity and forced servitude. So if you're going to say that the Bible endorses slavery, you have a problem. Now, in the Old Testament law, kidnapping and selling somebody into forced servitude, did you know that it was prohibited and punishable by the death penalty?
Can I answer, please?
Did you? Okay. Have a nice day. You don't want to have a conversation. Okay. You see, these people all have mental problems. This is one of the big problems that we have. These people have mental problems.
Okay.
Welcome, John. What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, host, are you available to talk?
You're too close to your microphone.
No, you have to talk to Darth.
Why?
Because I pay him.
That's lame as fuck. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. So that's straight. Okay, he's gone. Thank you for removing him.
He left. I didn't remember him, but that just
Well,
like
we're dealing with people that have varying degrees of
This
mental
is,
aberrations and total lack of character. So
this is this game they play. I want to talk to the host. It's a game.
well, that's because they perceive you incorrectly as being lower hanging fruit.
No, they're doing that. It's not. That's not why. It's because it's a manipulation thing.
All right, I'm gonna give you a second chance. If you do not behave like an adult, you're gonna be kicked and you will not come back on. Okay, understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what do you want to talk about?
Can I ask a question?
I'm waiting.
Okay.
Look, dude, you've already been kicked once. If I kick you again, you won't be back.
Okay, so the Bible endorses slavery.
Yeah. Show me in the Old Testament where the word Eved is used, where within its grammatical and contextual stance, it's required to mean forced captivity and forced servitude rather than it's referring to somebody who is acting in a service relationship, either voluntarily or contractual, because there are numerous passages in the Old Testament where the word eved, which is translated slave, cannot refer to forced captivity and slavery. So if you're going to say that any given passage among many means forced captivity and forced servitude, okay, what verse is it that you're referring to where the context, the grammar, and the syntax unequivocally require it to be the word eved to be understood as forced servitude and captivity, especially when Old Testament law punishes by death kidnapping and forced servitude? It's prohibited by Old Testament law. Did you know that?
Yeah. So can I make my point?
Yeah. No. I don't want you to make your point. I want you to answer my question. What verse in the Bible? What verse in the Bible in the Old Testament where the word eved is translated slave unequivocally means forced captivity and forced servitude, and that it is being prescribed or endorsed as an okay practice? What verse in the Bible does what verse in the Old Testament does that?
Okay, are you done?
If you don't answer the question, I'm removing you.
Okay, cool. So when the Bible endorses beating someone, and you
okay, so do you realize you just dodged my question?
Kick me off.
Okay. So, well, I'm going to be very reasonable with you. So the passage in question is not a prescription to administer corporal punishment. Have you ever heard of casuistic law?
Are you stupid, dude?
Okay, okay. All right. See, again, another mentally ill person. All right. What a cesspool TikTok is. Welcome, Haywood.
Gary, you're the only one mentally ill here, you big giant man baby.
Do you have nothing better to do with your adult life to come on and troll?
You're the only incel on this app sadder than Pre-Cum Mars. Hey, Pre-Cum, how's the Chatterbait account? Doing well? Making enough money, buddy?
Okay, let's secure him. Okay.
Ooh, that's a harsh angle, pal.
Yeah, bye. I guarantee you this is not somebody that the women in his life find attractive. We have these little girly men trash talk like that because they understand that they're not real men. See, real men who are very confident in their own masculinity don't need to behave in this way.
Gary, you're the only one who's not a real man. The marriage. How's the life, buddy?
Oh, my goodness. Another girly man. Okay. You see, people, like when people go to prison, they typically, I won't say never, typically don't talk this way. Because in prison, you can get killed for talking that way to other prisoners. They just do it because there's no severe consequences biting them. But then again, these people are mentally ill. And I've learned in my 60 plus years that when you talk with people that have mental illness, mental aberration, there's a large chunk of them that are in a complete state of denial as to their mental problems.
David Wood said, so sometimes you're so high on Mount Stupid that you can't tell where you are.
Yeah. Yeah, these people are pretty stupid. Welcome, Islamic Empire. What do you want to talk about?
Is Abraham a unipersonal? Does Abraham believe in a unipersonal God?
First of all, how old are you?
I'm 15.
Okay,
You have to
I'm not
click
interested
on.
in talking with you, little boy.
Did you talk to this Dawson Luck guy? Lusk?
Could you repeat?
Dawson Lusk. Did you already remove him? I don't remember who you removed. I'll just add him again, I guess.
I don't remember.
Or they might have left. Without a rack.
Welcome, Carl. What would you like to talk about? Or to Carl.
Baking powder.
I would like to learn more about your third point, abortion is child sacrifice to Moloch. I would like to. Can you elaborate on that?
P, you want to explain why you included Moloch?
Well, I mean, that's in the Bible. In the Bible, they would do child sacrifice to Moloch. So I assume there's a demon that wants child sacrifice. It still exists today. And so, I would just call that a sacrifice to Moloch.
Yeah, so in the ancient religious world, they would frequently sacrifice their god to their false gods or demons or Satan. And that's what people are doing today.
So it's whether they know they're like serving the demon or whether they don't have to know it. They're doing what Moloch wants in the Old Testament. So that's the way I look at it, right?
Okay, but how about for science needs our Lord Jesus Christ? What do you mean by that?
Jesus, as representative of the triune self-revealing God, constitutes the absolute of that model of reality that undergirds all contingency and regularity. Therefore, any and all contingency have an ultimate frame of reference or context. When you do not start with this self-revealing God as the absolute of your model of reality, then there will be no absolute for you to put on the table. And with no absolute, when you invoke contingency, it's uninterpretable. There's no identifiable reason as to why it exists.
Makes sense, but science says that like the Earth,
Carl, how old are you?
I'm not comfortable revealing my age.
Okay, have a nice day. I'm not comfortable with talking with you.
I need to get baking powder. I'm gonna bake some wings.
This is Zach, and this is you. Shall we have a converse?
What do you want to talk about, Matek?
Anything that you desire, really. You tell me.
Look, if you're confused, I don't want you to blather up here. What do you want to talk about?
In the sense of the prompt, or?
All right, have a nice day. When you get your thoughts together, come back.
Man, I talked to a Scottish kid this morning, or no, I should say like young man. What a shame that I thought the Scottish cared about freedom. He's like defending Islam in his country. It's like, what happened to Scotland?
Well, people in the UK have just gone nuts in terms of their liberalism.
I was like, don't listen to me. Listen to William Wallace. You know what I mean? You got to watch Braveheart, bro. It's crazy. It's like, you don't even protect the women in your country.
What would you like to talk about, Matek?
So I am indeed presuming you're talking about a prompt, so number 5, indeed.
You're too close to your microphone.
No, that's all right. I'm in the forest. I'm in the woods. So I need to be.
I think it's his accent.
Okay, goodbye. Goodbye.
I think it's his accent.
Yeah, you're not coming up with Matek.
What's it's completely psychotic. These people like to keep requesting like that. It's like,
I don't want to talk with somebody on microphone where I have to struggle what they're saying when it sounds like the microphone is in the back of their throat.
let's see here. I think it was
buying a good microphone is very inexpensive.
It wasn't the microphone; it was his accent. He was like, he had like a really country bumpkin where they don't like enunciate anything.
Or my bad, maybe he has marbles in the mouth disorder.
You don't ever run into like a country bumpkin and you don't know what the hell they're saying? Can we say country bumpkin? Or am I gonna get banned for saying that?
I think that's okay. Truth, welcome. What do you want to talk about? Can't hear you.
Can't hear me.
When you fix your microphone, come on back.
I'm gonna start debating that the church is not Israel. The church does not replace Israel. I think that's a big problem.
I have many really good resources.
Yeah, I got
on that in the eschatology folder.
I got some of them.
Yeah, and so you're going to want to appeal to the dispensational book.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to brag here, but I cannot believe the quality of books that I have that defend dispensationalism. They're just really great stuff. One, Charles Ryrie's book, Dispensationalism, is a must read.
I got some of the best biblical passages I got is like Romans 11. Paul teaches a future salvation of ethnic Israel. Paul makes a distinction between ethnic Israel and Jews who accept Christ.
Just because Paul will use Israel as a metaphor for the true people of God does not mean that Israel is replaced in the church.
Because God says to Jeremiah that Israel will always be a nation, and that I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob forever. He doesn't stop being their God.
Welcome, Passing. What do you want to talk about?
I'm Sal, a deranged, poop-guzzling retard who lives to slurp hot, runny diarrhea straight out of fancy $20 lattes, like the pathetic shit slave I...
So God has not rejected Israel, the church does not replace Israel, and God will still fulfill his promises to national Israel.
Cliff Parsons, I'll come up and I'll explain the passage to you. people are so uneducated and ignorant. This is all you want. You can beat a slave. No, this is not a prescription to beat a servant. This is casuistic law, that if this were to happen and the servant was beaten and they died, then they were to be put to death. Now, the laws against beating somebody mercilessly where they don't die would also apply to the person whom the servant or slave was working for. Under Mosaic law, that servant or slave can flee at any time and cannot be required to be returned under the Mosaic law. So it would be counterproductive in general for somebody who acquired servants to maliciously beat them when they would lose that asset. Well, the fact that you're not coming up to discuss it or send an invite, you don't have enough. I'm just going to mute you. These people are such morons. Maybe you might want to read. By the way, P. Paul Copan has 2 books. One is God, a Moral Monster, and I can't remember what the other title is, but it's in the slavery folder. Are you listening?
Yeah.
In the slavery folder, there are 2 of Paul's Copan's books, and in both of those books, he has superb chapters on the issue of slavery. Now, I don't agree with Copan when he said that, if my understanding is correct, that when God commanded the destruction of the Amalekites, that this was just hyperbolic language. I believe that it's to be taken the way it communicates, that God said, wipe them all out. God has his own sufficient reason to do so. And I believe it had to do with inbreeding, genetic inbreeding, so that they wouldn't infect other population groups.
Well, we don't even have to explain it, really. But,
No, we don't. No.
The text says God wipes out the Canaanites because he doesn't want them to corrupt Israel to foreign gods. So God has a reason for doing these things. And again, these are just emotional arguments where all the people making these arguments support abortion. So I think they should just be ignored.
Yeah, we're not dealing with people of high caliber.
Like today, when this guy's like saying the Bible is not an authority, I said, "Do you realize you're making a claim about authority?" And like you can't figure it out. It's like crazy. It's like,
oh, these people are dumb. Welcome truth. What do you want to talk about? The Bible being true. Stop mumbling. The Bible being true. I'm listening. Can you look, dude? I'm about to kick you. Are you okay? Are you ill? I'm just asking a question. Okay, when we look at the internal propositional content of the biblical narrative, if it represents a comprehensive worldview undergirded by the absolute of the triune God, who has revealed that his attribute and his property set is exclusive. No other worldview can have it. And the attribute set of the God of the Bible, who has revealed himself in creation and through the person of Jesus Christ, that his attribute set is indispensable for grounding any discussion of truth, reason, or intelligibility with the impossibility of the contrary. So we generally say that something is proven or established because we have an overwhelming positive case combined or conjoined with the impossibility of the contrary. We have an overwhelming positive case from God's own testimony of who he is, what his nature is, being that his nature is exclusive and indispensable, combined with the impossibility of the contrary. Now, if you do not accept what I just said, then you are making a worldview counterclaim, which you're going to have to explain. You don't have the luxury of ignoring what I just said and just saying, you didn't prove it. To not accept the propositional content of God's revelation of that his nature is exclusive and indispensable, then you're operating in principle from another worldview, which you will have to explain. So if I hear so much out of your mouth, you didn't prove it, or that didn't prove it, you're making a worldview counterclaim.
I'm not going to say that. I'm just curious.
Do you accept that God has clearly revealed himself in creation and clearly revealed himself in the person of Jesus Christ, codifying it propositionally in the Bible, showing that it is the only possible rational worldview? Do you accept that?
I believe the Bible. I just want to know.
Do you accept that the Christian worldview is the only possible rational worldview?
That I'm not sure of. I'm not
okay.
sure.
Okay. No. Then you are now in effect denying the exclusivity and indispensability of the Christian worldview grounded in the attribute set of God. So what is your worldview that will provide for truth, reason, and intelligibility for anything?
So I believe
if you dodge, I'm going to instantly kick you without further warning.
Okay, my worldview, for the sake of argument, let's say, just to see how you respond, is gonna.
No, sir, stop. I don't want to hear the bullshit for the sake of argument. I want you to tell me, what is your worldview that you're speaking and reasoning from that renders the Christian worldview not exclusive or indispensable?
Stop being a coward and commit to something.
Yeah,
so
tell
what is
me what your worldview is. Otherwise, I'm going to drop you.
Unitarian Christian God, not the triune. Let's go with
okay,
that.
There's no
let's go with that. He said, wait. He said, let's go with that. He doesn't even believe. Dude, just leave. Just remove this guy.
Okay. Yeah, you see, these people are just they're morons.
He goes, Unitarian Christian God, let's go with that. We just went over. We're not doing the for the sake of argument. So he goes, let's go with that.
We're not doing for the sake of argument.
So totally ignoring us, total low character, demonstrating what the Bible says about people and what sin does to you. He's revealing sin, his commitment to sin.
So did I not make it clear that I was not going to tolerate him saying, "quote, well, for the sake of argument"?
And then he said, he goes, "Well, I'm not going to say for the sake of argument." What did he say? We'll go with unity. So that he used different words to say the same thing.
Yeah. Water, welcome. What do you want to talk about?
How you are using circular reasoning.
Oh, God.
Claim.
Are you a circular atheist?
The Bible is the claim, and you're saying God is
water,
because the Bible says so.
Listen to me. If you don't
I know
start,
you kick me. You kick everybody.
Okay, goodbye, faggot. Actually, in my personal life, in my earlier years, and still, women find me very appealing. So no, I'm not one of those.
I don't think that's the reason why they're that way.
I'm almost as handsome as PMars.
I don't see
quite, but almost.
I don't see it. Doesn't really. If women find you attractive, that has nothing to do with whether you're that way or not, right? Like that's like sin or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Isn't it amazing how they pull out the F word? I would say it, but it's bad.
Well, then we're bad when we say it, but they're allowed to say it. If you think this is rage bait, then the truth must upset you.
See, I'm better off just remaining calm, not giving them a tongue lashing, and just putting them in the James Bond ejection seat. Welcome, Butte. What do you want to talk about?
I think we should just quote the Bible, right? The Bible talks about their foolish mentality. I've been saying you're like these worthless people in Deuteronomy that lead people to false gods. So I always bring it back to scripture if I'm going to insult them,
I was listening on the radio today, some guy talking about the Artemis 2 mission, and he just couldn't help himself talking about the Big Bang. And these people are such bullshit artists. It's like they're invoking science, but they're not. The Big Bang is not science per se. It is metaphysical. It's not observable, repeatable, testable, repeatable. It's not observable, testable, or repeatable with predictive success. It's just simply naturalism masquerading as science.
I'm tempted to make a racist joke now.
Well, don't.
Okay.
And don't make any more jokes like that in church.
I can't help it. There's something wrong with me.
You're gonna get into trouble.
That's why I'm a Christian, to get into trouble. James is tired. Spear checker. Oh, this guy got banned on Twitch that I like, because what did he say? They were talking about how Iran is winning the war or something, and the guy goes, well, their whole army, navy, and air force is decimated. How are they winning the war? Because they have good memes. And she was trying to make this argument that because their memes were better, like what they're doing on the internet or something, they're winning. And the guy goes,
they got royally spanked like they never imagined would ever happen.
And the guy said, I don't care what some third worlder thinks about memes. And he got banned for saying that. But that's not that's not directed at any specific nationality or race or anything. So he's saying, like, who cares what someone outside of America says about what America's doing? It's like, we don't have to listen to you.
Israel has been conducting a massive amount of intelligence as to the internal operations, locations of everything in Iran for decades, waiting for this day. See, this is one thing Israel does with excellence. They have one of the best intelligence collecting machines on the planet. Do you know that ex-CIA agent who appears frequently on TikTok named John Keir or something?
I don't trust anything There's no such thing as ex-CIA, and I don't.
Oh, this guy's ex-CIA because they threw him in prison.
Yeah.
For disclosing certain things from his CIA career that he was not supposed to.
That's what the CIA wants you to think.
No, trust me. They put him in prison. Okay. Welcome, Truth Knower.
You already talked to this guy. We kicked him, I think.
Okay, he gets one more chance, and he's not coming up. Yeah, go ahead.
But he's the guy. He's the guy. The for sake of argument guy.
What's up? Okay, so did you understand what I told you?
Yeah.
I did. Don't give me this crap for the sake of argument, and then you just simply change the wording and you try for the sake of argument. What is your model of reality? If I don't get a clear, truthful answer, I'm going to kick you, and you won't be back up again.
The one person of God. So he's one person.
Okay, bye. Goodbye. Yeah, bye. Okay, so he's just repeating what he did before for the sake of argument.
Yeah. Why? It's funny. Why won't he defend what he believes in? It's almost like he knows he's full of shit. It's almost as they're aware that they're full of shit, Darth.
I was talking with a guy who said, there's no evidence for the flood. And I said, do you know what the Coconino sandstone is? And he goes, no. I said, do you know where it's located? He goes, no. I said, so how would you know then that there's no evidence? I said, the Coconino sandstones stretch over across many states from north to south out in the west. Okay? It's sandstone. I said, how is sandstone formed? The guy goes, wind? I go, no. It's formed by large deposits of water. And the Coconina sandstone continues north and south out west across many states in the United States. Where did that come from? See these people. Oh, I was just listening to another idiot. Oh yeah, leftist Louis. He says that there's not enough water to cover the earth. These people are so stupid. They don't realize that there's more than enough water in the oceans to spill over the above sea level land and then seek its own level and then eventually drain back into the oceans again. Okay? They had this silly idea that the water was all at an equal level all over the land surfaces rather than due to the massive subterranean upheaval resulting in earthquakes beyond anything that we can imagine, causing numerous recurrent tsunamis where the ocean waters spilled over the edges of the continents, flooding the land until it then receded again. Welcome, Selenium.
Here's the harsher version, personally addressed to Darth. Hey, Darth, you're really out here defending baby killing as just because some ancient desert tribe
talk with your normal voice or you're getting blood. Okay, bye.
Your God was actually this all-powerful,
bye. So if you're going to use an AI reader, you're getting bounced. Okay?
God's mean.
Welcome, sir. What would you like to talk about?
Okay, so I'm here to just basically learn different perspectives. So this is like a Christian live, right?
Yes. How old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
I basically like. Okay, I'm gonna start off with this question. Do you think science proves? Okay, so do you think science can prove or disapprove religion?
Everything in the world, individually and collectively, overwhelmingly is emblematic and indicative of ultimate intentional design, with the impossibility of the contrary. Okay?
Okay, yes. So is this...
Now, the contrary would be to say that the world is an illusion of design brought about by naturalistic contingencies that are categorized as God independent, but that cannot be defended.
Okay. Also, in the Bible, it says that Adam and Eve were the first humans, right?
Yeah. You do understand that you're talking to somebody who's 3 times your age, and I have quite a bit of experience of debating and defending the Christian worldview and the biblical worldview for over 16 years. And I've been a Christian studying the Bible for 40 years.
Yeah, I'm not trying to prove you wrong. I'm trying to...
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so the Bible does say that Adam and Eve were the first humans, right?
Yeah, I think that's obvious.
Okay, but science says otherwise. Can you tell me what?
Okay, you're an uneducated skull full of mush. Science cannot tell you about the past. It can speculate. Are all conclusions in science provisional?
Can you define provisional for me?
You don't know what that word means?
No, I do not.
Okay, have a nice day.
What?
What a moron. These people are so stupid when they invoke science, they don't realize how ignorant they are. Welcome, Harry. What do you want to talk about?
Not much, man. I agree with pretty much everything you say. I just was wondering if you're Christian or you just kind of believe in a God. just your
We are,
words.
we are, both of us are Bible believing evangelicals
Awesome.
and fundamentalists, and we defend the Christian worldview against all other worldviews.
Awesome. Well, I love that, man. I just think you just need to have kind of a bit of a warmer heart if you want to turn people towards Christianity.
Little boy, I don't need instructions from you about how to
You're a
conduct
bit
myself.
rude to everyone, and I think that
You're being rude for You're being rude for interrupting me. Maybe you should have a warmer heart and not be so interruptive and show some respect. Okay.
Gotcha, man. Well, God bless you.
This is ridiculous.
Am I still in here?
Yeah, TikTok asked me to remove
Did you
Darth.
mean to kick me out or him?
No, TikTok asked me to remove. Now we got bullying and harassment. This is ridiculous.
Harry, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 21.
Okay, so why are you having a haircut like a little teenage boy with bangs over your forehead rather than a young man?
Dude, you're like 50 years old and you're acting like a man-child on TikTok.
Notice how you just responded immaturely to me. I asked you a legitimate question. Okay, hey, Harry, you want to come in here? You want to tell me how I should conduct myself? Okay, now
I just think you conduct yourself improperly.
I don't care how you.
Well, you're not going to bring anyone to Christianity.
Okay, all right, dude, you're
You're going to drive people away.
Okay, interrupt me again, and listen to me again. Interrupt me again while telling me how I ought to conduct myself, while the whole time you're constantly interrupting me, right? And you're being a know-it-all. You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to evangelism. So do you understand that Jesus turned a lot of people off? Okay, when he spoke publicly, did Jesus publicly say that the religious leaders collectively?
Well, John 6.
Let me finish. Harry, hey, Harry, if you're truly in your early 20s, start acting like you're a young man instead of an impulsive little teenager. Now, did Jesus publicly and caustically condemn the religious leaders publicly, saying that they were rotting corpses in whitewashed tombs? Did he do that?
Yeah, because they were, though.
Okay, well, okay. Was that abrasive?
Yeah, it could be abrasive. But
Okay, now, Harry, when Stephen was before the Jewish Supreme Court, right, he told them to their faces that they were uncircumcised in their hearts. Do you recall that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, now, do you understand, and you probably don't, but do you understand that that is... Okay, you know what? You know what? I'm now blocking you. Okay, you're done.
Go ahead, man.
Bye, little boy. Yeah, get an adult haircut instead of a little boy bangs haircut.
Gideon was filled with the Spirit of God when he stabbed the fat king, and Phineas was filled with zeal for the Lord when he speared 2 people. And you're mad that we're being mean to people. You're a moron.
Yeah, so here we have a 22-year-old so-called young man with a little curly
crybaby bitch. Crybaby bitch. Darth is a crybaby bitch. Crybaby bitch. Crybaby bitch.
Okay. So this is what we're constantly dealing with, these little boys who had ineffectual dads, if they knew their dad at all.
That was my problem, but I repented.
Welcome the way. What do you want to talk about?
Darth, why are you such a pedantic piece of shit that doesn't actually know the Bible?
Oh.
Okay, I'm sorry you didn't know your daddy.
Well, I am your father because I fucked your mother.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Okay.
These people are normal. This is totally normal.
Yeah.
What a normal day.
So this is all they got. They don't have the intellectual wherewithal to refute Jesus' identity claims and the Christian worldview, and so this is what we're left with. They're psycho.
Here's another one of them. This guy in the chat, Wit and Wonder.
Yeah.
Oh, you're using TikTok to vent your disdain for people. Yeah, we shouldn't have disdain for lies. We should just sit here and take abuse. Why are we upset? Why would we be upset that someone's lying?
Welcome, Dave. What do you want to talk about? Earth to Dave. If you don't answer, I'm going to disconnect you.
Oh, wait.
Mars to Dave.
Have you noticed that the grotesque, immature trolling is almost predominantly young males?
Yeah.
You know, I was listening to Loud Lefty and some of the other regular streamers the last couple of days, and I will tell you in all honesty, when I listen to them, I just don't disagree with them. I'm profoundly gobsmacked with how stupid they are when they discuss these subjects. Yet they think they have a higher intellectual accomplishment of understanding these issues when they don't. I mean, their level of intellectualization is literally at a junior high school level. That's how bad their reasoning is.
You know, like kids can't, like schools aren't teaching kids to read anymore. Did you know that?
When I was a kid, I didn't like school, but now I love to read.
I still don't like school.
I love reading.
I didn't like reading. I like reading, but I like learning. I don't like school. I don't like being forced to learn. And then because they make learning so boring in school, then when people get out of school, they like don't want to learn anymore.
I'll be back.
What time is it? 3 o'clock. I got church tonight. Well, we could probably read a chapter scripture. Welcome, neighbor.
Hi there.
Hi.
I only had a quick question for you, if you don't mind. Just been seeing several TikToks where people are almost like they have like a test to see if you're, take this quiz and see if you're going to go to heaven. But it's a host who's asking the questions. I don't know how you feel about that.
I'm not really interested.
My question would be, what percentage of mankind do you think is actually going to get to heaven?
I don't.
I understand it's not for you to judge, but there's some basic criteria laid out. So
not interested. That's the technological mindset: is quantity and percentages. Welcome.
Hello, I was in here literally like not even 10 minutes ago, and I was shut down for asking questions, and I wasn't being disrespectful. So can I ask questions now without being kicked out because I don't agree exactly with what you say?
No.
No? So what is this, a dictatorship?
Yes.
Is that what Jesus Christ would want?
It is what it is, man. Like, what am I supposed to let you control me?
I don't want to control you.
That's what you're doing. You're trying to control me. To learn, you have to empty your cup and let go of your preconceived notions.
empty my cup? Is that just another way of saying to being open to like other perspectives? I am open to other perspectives. I'm trying to learn your perspective.
You're
You're not
not.
letting me.
You're not open to other perspectives.
How are you going to tell me what I'm open to and what I'm not?
Like this. You're not
What do you
open
mean?
to other perspectives.
And how would you know that?
Logic.
What logic are you using?
Please leave.
You just let me join after kicking me out, and now you're telling me to leave. How
The
are you?
logic is this, that you say I'm open to other perspectives.
Mhm.
Are you open to the perspective that you aren't open to other perspectives?
So you're basically trying to manipulate
You're
me into
contradicting.
me
So
saying
that's
that
logic.
I'm not open. Okay, what
That's
are your
called
beliefs?
logic. So
Okay,
do you, I want to hear. I contradicted myself because I'm irrational and I don't think beyond the surface level. I want you to hear. I want to hear you say that.
I'm not gonna let you hear you. I'm not gonna. That's just gonna feed your ego.
Okay.
Let me know what your beliefs are.
Leave. You're not good enough for me. Leave.
I'm not good enough for you.
You're not
If
good
I'm
enough.
good enough for God, why wouldn't I be
You're
good
not
enough for
good
you?
enough for God. Leave.
Who are you to tell me if I'm good enough for God or not? What are you? You're not
PMars.
some
I'm
God.
PMars.
You're not sent by God.
I'm a priest. Leave. You're not good enough.
You don't act like one.
You're not good enough.
What type of priest tells
You're
God's
not
children
ready.
they're not good enough?
You're not ready. Go away.
Ready for what?
The truth. Go away.
I want to. Okay, what is the truth?
You're not ready.
What's the truth?
Go away. I'm not going to give it to you.
Why wouldn't you tell
Dude,
child of God the truth?
I'm commanded not to give to dogs what is holy. Don't cast pearls before swine, lest they turn and attack you. You're an obnoxious, lying moron. You love your servitude. Get the hell out of here. All right. I'm a loser.
You're doing Satan's work.
Loser. Hello.
Hey, so, do you want to tell me why abortion is a sacrifice?
Because God said so.
Okay, do you want to pull out that verse, please? That openly says that.
No. You don't believe me?
I believe that God,
All right, bye. Oh, I'm bored. Look, I'm bored. Yeah, I'm bored. Okay, Zeba and Zalmunna. Now the Euphrates asked Gideon, "Why have you treated us like this? Why didn't you call us when you went to..." Excuse me. Why didn't you call us when you went to fight Midian? And they challenged him vigorously. But he answered them, "What have I accomplished compared to you? Aren't the gleanings of Ephraim's grapes better than the full grape harvest of Abiezer? God gave Oreb and Zeb, the Midianite leaders, into your hands. What was I able to do compared to you?" At this, their resentment against him subsided. Gideon and his 300 men, exhausted, yet keeping up the pursuit, came to the Jordan and crossed it. He said to the men of Succoth, "Give my troops some bread. They are worn out, and I am still pursuing Zeba and Zalmunna, the kings of Midian." But the officials of Succoth said, "Do you already have the hands of Zeba and Zalmunna in your possession? Why should we give bread to your troops?" Then Gideon replied, "Just for that, when the Lord has given Zeba and Zalmunna into my hand, I will tear your flesh with the desert thorns and briars." From there he went up to Peniel and made the same request of them. But they answered as the men of Succoth had. So he said to the men of Peniel, "When I return in triumph, I will tear down this tower." Now Zeba and Zalmunna were in Karkor with a force of about 15,000 men. All that were left of the armies of the eastern peoples, 120,000 swordsmen had fallen. Gideon went up by the route of the nomads east of Nobah and Jogbaha and attacked the unsuspecting army. Zebah and Zalmunna, the two kings of Midian, fled, but he pursued them and captured them, routing their entire army. Gideon, son of Joash, then returned from the battle by the pass of Herez. He caught a young man of Succoth and questioned him, and the young man wrote down for him the names of 77 officials of Succoth, the elders of the town. Then Gideon came and said to the men of Succoth, "Here are Zabah and Zalmunna, about whom you taunted me by saying, 'Do you already have the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna in your possession? Why should we give bread to your exhausted men?'" He took the elders of the town and taught the men of Succoth a lesson by punishing them with desert thorns and briars. He also pulled down the tower of Peniel and killed the men of the town. Then he asked Zebah and Zalmunna, "What kind of men did you kill at Tabor?" "Men like you," they answered, "each one with the bearing of a prince." Gideon replied, "Those were my brothers, the sons of my own mother. As surely as the Lord lives, if you had spared their lives, I would not kill you." Turning to Jether, his oldest son, he said, "Kill them." But Jether did not draw his sword, because he was only a boy and was afraid. Zebah and Zalmunna said, "Come, do it yourself. As is the man, so is his strength." So Gideon stepped forward and killed them, and took the ornaments off their camels' necks. Gideon's ephod. The Israelites said to Gideon, "Rule over us, you, your son, and your grandson, because you have saved us from the hand of Midian." But Gideon told them, "I will not rule over you, nor will my son rule over you. The Lord will rule over you." And he said, "I do have one request, that each of you give me an earring from your share of the plunder." It was custom of the Ishmaelites to wear gold earrings. They answered, "We'll be glad to give them." So they spared out a garment, and each of them threw a ring from his plunder onto it. The weight of the gold rings he asked for came to 1,700 shekels, not counting the ornaments, the pendants, and the purple garments worn by the kings of Midian, or the chains that were on their camels' necks. Gideon made the gold into an ephod, which he placed in Ophrah, his town. All Israel prostituted themselves by worshiping it there, and it became a snare to Gideon and his family. Gideon's death. Thus Midian was subdued before the Israelites and did not rise its head again. During Gideon's lifetime, the land had peace 40 years. Jerubbaal, son of Joash, went back home to live. He had 70 sons of his own, for he had many wives. His concubine, who lived in Shechem, also bore him a son, whom he named Abimelech. Gideon, son of Joash, died at a good old age, and was buried in the tomb of his father Joash in Ophrah of the Abiezrites. No sooner had Gideon died than the Israelites again prostituted themselves to the Baals. They set up Baal Berith as their god, and did not remember the Lord their God, who had rescued them from the hands of all their enemies on every side. They also failed to show any loyalty to the family of Jerubbaal, that is Gideon, in spite of all the good things he had done for them. Let's see if we got any footnotes. Whoops. check the Bible study. The Ephraimites complained that they had not been on the initial route of the Midianites. Gideon's soft answer, reminding them that they had captured 2 Midianite chiefs, calmed them. Sukkoth was east of the Jordan and north of the Jabbok River. The residents did not wish to take a chance helping Gideon until they were certain that he had captured the Midianite chiefs. Peniel was 4 miles east of Succoth. These people also tried to remain neutral, see note on Genesis 32:30. Gideon had the leaders of Succoth dragged over thorns, which probably resulted in their deaths. From Jether to have performed the execution would have been an honor for the boy and greater humiliation for those to be slain. The ornaments were worn as amulets. Because they were Ishmaelites, the term for nomadic traders, which the Midianites were. This was at least 350 ounces of gold, more if the reference is to the heavy shekel. The form of ephod is not known, but clearly it became an object of idolatrous worship. Then we're going to talk about Abimelech in the next chapter. Okay, I've been doing like a 8-part sermon. So we're on part 7. So I'm gonna read that, then I'm gonna go get some food. It's at 3 o'clock. Okay, this sermon's title is Freedom That Loves. All right, let's go. Let me start with a question. When you think about freedom, what do you picture? Oh, someone's requesting.
Yo, what's up, PMars?
Hi, welcome. What would you like to say?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
So I have a debate coming up on Friday. Would you mod?
Mod? Me?
Yeah, like moderate
Where is it?
on TikTok. But I don't like if we were gonna do it, it would be on your live.
With who?
Just this kid. His name's No Bots or Donkey. He has another account called Donkey.
I don't know. I don't think I really want to do that, man.
No, it's cool, man. Appreciate that.
All right. I don't really know. I'd have to like learn how to moderate a debate. Let me start with a question. When you think about freedom, what do you picture? Most of us picture having options, having rights, being able to choose what we want. Freedom feels like no one can tell me what to do. Now, let me ask a harder question. What happens when your freedom collides with something? Crap, I screwed up. Let me start with a question. When you think about freedom, what do you picture? Most of us picture having options, having rights, being able to choose what we want. Freedom feels like no one can tell me what to do. Now, let me ask a harder question. What happens when your freedom collides with someone else's? When your right affects them? when your choice costs them. In those moments, what do we usually say? I have the right to do this. And maybe you do, but here's the deeper question. What does real freedom do in that moment? Our culture teaches us freedom is expressing yourself, freedom is asserting your rights, freedom is protecting your ability to choose. So naturally, we think the more I hold on to my rights, the more free I am. But here's what that creates: a world where everyone is defending themselves, everyone is asserting their preferences, and everyone is protecting their space. And the result is not freedom, it's conflict, it's isolation, it's people living next to each other, but not for each other. Because if freedom is only about you, then it will eventually divide you from everyone else. Think about it honestly. If everyone insists on their rights, their preferences, and their comforts, then relationships start to break down. Because love requires something freedom, defined this way, can't give: sacrifice. And here's the tension: you cannot have deep love without giving something up. So now we have a problem. If freedom means I do what I want, but love requires I give up what I want, then which one wins? Most of the time, we choose ourselves and we call it freedom. But Jesus shows us something completely different. The freest man who ever lived chose the cross. Think about that. Jesus was not forced, he was not trapped, he was not controlled. He says, "No one takes my life from me. I lay it down on my own accord." That is not weakness, that is freedom. Because Jesus is not driven by fear, pressure, or self preservation. He is free to do what is truly right. And what does he choose? He chooses sacrifice, service, love, all the way to the cross. At the very moment where he shows the greatest freedom, he is giving everything away. So now we can see clearly that freedom is not self expression. Freedom is not holding on your rights. Freedom is the ability to give yourself away in love. If your freedom never costs you anything, it isn't Christian freedom. Because real freedom is not afraid to lose. It's not obsessed with self protection. And it's not driven by what do I get out of this? Real freedom asks, how can I love? And love always involves limitation, sacrifice, and choosing someone else's good over your own comfort. Think about a parent with a young child. The parent has freedom. They could sleep in, spend their time however they want, prioritize their own needs. But what do they actually do? They wake up in the middle of the night, they give their time, they give their energy, they rearrange their entire life around that child. From the outside, it looks like loss, but ask any loving parent. That is not bondage. That is love. And in that love, there is a deeper kind of freedom. Imagine you're in a situation where you're right. You have every justification to speak harshly, to defend yourself, to demand your way. And instead, you choose patience, restraint, gentleness. You give up your right to win the moment for the sake of the relationship. That's not weakness, that's freedom. Anyone can demand their rights, only a free person can lay them down. So, how do we live this out? Stop measuring freedom by what you can keep. Instead of asking, what am I allowed to do? Start asking, how can I love in this given situation? Look for opportunities to limit yourself for others. This is where freedom becomes visible. Choosing patience instead of reaction. Choosing generosity instead of self-protection. Choosing service instead of convenience. Fix your eyes on Christ when it feels costly, because it will feel costly. Love always does. But remember, you're not losing your freedom, you are expressing it. Let me end here. You've been told freedom is doing whatever you want, freedom is holding on to your rights, freedom is putting yourself first. But look at the life of Jesus, perfectly free, completely unbound. What does he do? He gives himself away. So the question is not, how much can I keep? The question is, how much can I give? Because if your freedom never costs you anything, it's not Christian freedom. And when you begin to live that way, something changes. You stop being controlled by your fears, your self-desires, the need to win. You begin to reflect Christ, the one who was most free and chose the cross. So don't settle for a shallow version of freedom. Step into the kind that loves, the kind that gives, the kind that looks like Jesus. Because that is what freedom was always meant to be. Do I debate? Yeah, I debate. I've debated you. But your worldview is nonsense. Like, there's no objective reference point. So every debate would be arbitrary. Welcome, neighbor.
Hey, brother in Christ, just want to show you support. Sent you a follow,
Okay.
but I will adhere to your request. I am Christian.
No
Good luck
worries.
to you.
Thank you.
Hey, can I just say one thing to all the atheists in the chat? See thee beneath God. Y'all have a good day.
I'm gonna change that soon. I'm gonna start debating Christians. I'm gonna debate once saved, always saved. I'll debate the Israel and the church are not the same, that they're distinct. I'm gonna debate what else? That Calvinism is false. So I'm gonna start debating. I'm just like, I don't know. I want to like be more prepared to debate Christians. It's harder. It's easy to debate atheists because atheism's goofy. It's hard to debate Christians. I'm gonna go get some food. Thanks, guys. See you later. Oh, there's one more person.
Hello?
Hello, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
What would you like to say?
I guess I'm interested in your view. I know that you mentioned something about Calvinism. What do you think of that?
I think it would destroy God's love because if I can't say no to God, then my yes is meaningless. So I think Calvinism destroys God's love because God is love. He makes himself vulnerable. But Calvinism, they want to stress God's omnipotence and they ignore his love.
Okay, that wasn't my understanding of Calvinism. If I may give my understanding, and you can correct me as we go. I thought the point in Calvinism was to have scriptures in your own language.
No.
And to have a personal relationship with God.
Well, that's part of
not
it.
Through
No, but the Calvinists, the thing with Calvinism is they want to say that I can't say no to God. That if God, it's this idea of irresistible grace. If God calls me, I can't say no to God. That's kind of the main contention.
Okay.
I would
when you say you can't,
yeah.
That when they say that, do they mean it's impossible?
Yes.
To say no to God.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'd have to agree with you there, since God gave us a free will, right?
Right. So that's the problem I have. If we don't have a free will, then we're like robots, and we can't love God. Because love is a choice. Love is a choice. So if there's no choice, there's no love.
Okay. Something else I'd be interested in hearing you say is the Bible is demonstrably true. What do you mean by that?
I make a transcendental argument for God. Are you familiar with that type of argument?
I'm not, no, but
well, the idea is like we all have sort of like a worldview, and your worldview is like your glasses through which you see everything. So if I'm like an atheist and I put on my atheist glasses, well then the world looks atheist to me. If I put on my Christian glasses, well now so we have to argue like who has the correct glasses, so to speak. And I argue that without the Christian model of reality, that you couldn't make sense of science or logic. So the Christian model of reality would be necessary for like science to work or for logic to work.
Okay. You probably know more about this than I, but I heard that the word science was invented by a priest a couple of centuries ago.
Well, it doesn't really matter who invents the word. There's sort of like a proto-science with Aristotle is sort of doing like proto-science, but it's not really science. I know Francis Bacon is coined considered the guy who established the scientific method, or like one of the scientific, sort of like the general idea of the method of science, I guess.
Okay, because I think in spirituality, you bear witness to the divine, and then you bear your testimony. And I think to myself, how can you not draw parallels between that and how a scientist may make a prognosis and then they create, then they test that prognosis and then share those findings with your peers for it to be reviewed? I think there's very clear parallels between the two. But I suppose my question was, how can you demonstrate that the Bible is true? You say that these are my Christian lenses; those are your atheist lenses. How would one demonstrate that the Christian lenses is truer?
Because I would ask, what lenses make a demonstration possible? And we could show that any other view would make demonstration impossible. So demonstration would require the Christian view of reality. Because demonstration requires a model of reality. You can't demonstrate something outside of a model. You can only demonstrate within a model.
I mean, when you say demonstrate, I imagine somebody doing and showing by example that something is true, right?
Yeah, but that requires a model of reality. Without a model of reality, you can't demonstrate anything.
Okay. So how can one demonstrate that model of reality is true?
that I assume your model of reality and I show that your model of reality makes demonstration impossible, and then I would offer you my model of reality that makes demonstration possible, right?
Okay. But I mean, so are you saying that you would have to gauge my model of reality, and then
Well, step one is you have to admit you have a problem, right? If you don't think you have a problem, if you're cool with contradictions, if you're cool with like arbitrary knowledge, then you don't think you have a problem. So I have to point out that you have a problem by assuming your model of reality, and then I offer a solution or a savior. So Jesus doesn't merely save your soul, he saves science. Jesus saves philosophy, he saves the ability to debate. Without Jesus, you couldn't even make an argument or talk. So
okay, so let me try to understand your perspective a little bit here. Say if somebody's an atheist and then they come to learn of the Gospels and read scripture, and then they allow Jesus into their lives, and then their lives improve, that would then demonstrate that the Bible is true. Is that what you're saying?
it's like you're not even listening to me. Okay, remember the thing about the glasses?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think demonstration is possible with any glasses?
I'm really sorry. I really am trying to listen in good faith.
Do you think you can demonstrate something's true divorced of any context of a model of reality?
Because that's quite a big claim. Because
Answer my question. Can you demonstrate something's true without a model of reality? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So we don't need a model of reality.
No.
Okay. Well, then there'd be no rational context. So the demonstration would be schizophrenic. There'd be no rhyme or reason for why anything would be the way it is. It's pure crazy. So I wouldn't.
Perhaps if I may offer a shared definition of reality.
Is the definition optional or
that
necessary?
Because when I say reality,
is the definition optional or necessary?
Well, I think it's necessary for us to have.
How do you establish? How do you
We need
establish?
to have an understanding of the words where.
Yes, you're right. We do need necessary definitions. How would you establish anything is necessary? Because only God can do that.
So when I say reality, I believe that reality is.
I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you believe. So did you observe a necessary reality? Is there an empirical necessary reality? Where's this necessary? Where are you getting the necessity?
I don't understand what
you're saying. There's necessary definitions. So how do you establish that necessity? Like what did you?
I think it's necessary for a conversation. Because
did you observe?
What the other is saying.
Did you observe its okay? So it's a logical necessity?
To have a civil conversation, I think we need to both have a mutual understanding of the words we're using.
Yeah, but I think logic comes from Jesus. Do you think logic comes from Jesus?
I don't think logic comes from Jesus.
So I don't think it's possible to use words without Jesus. Like, because every time I predicate or I use words, like I'm predicating based on Jesus. So we're not neutral when we predicate. So we can't agree on that. Because if I predicate, every time I speak, I have to refer to Jesus to speak, and you don't, how are we agreeing on anything?
Well, I'm sure there's things we can agree on.
I don't agree that no. Like, so we might agree that this speaker exists in my hand, right? But I think the speaker exists because of Jesus. Do you think the speaker exists because of Jesus?
I don't, but I'd be interested.
Okay, so
in
then
hearing why you
what?
think that.
Because there's no other candidate. If I ask you what actualizes the speaker, so the speaker's actual, I would say Jesus. You would say, I don't know. What are you going to say? What actualizes the speaker?
The people that manufactured it.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Oh, fucking retard.